All right. All right. Can somebody give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay? Fantastic. Thank you. All right. So we are live out here at the park. Um, it does feel every bit of 5 degrees. Wouldn't y'all agree? Yeah, yeah, right. And as we were talking about when we first got out here, it's cold. Sometimes you have to motivate yourself a little bit to overcome the mental stuff. And but when you're coming out and you see a 80-year-old woman walking her dog and things like that, which I just saw as I was driving up, it's a good reminder of what we can do when we put our mind to it. And kind of, I titled this particular episode "Follow the Tao," and we kind of do that all the time, but occasionally for me, especially this week, with things going on in my life, that it reminded me about following the Tao and what that means. A lot of times people will interpret following the Tao as the in the Chinese words, the phrase is called Wu Wei, and it means translated. It often gets translated into effortless action or non-doing and things like that. And when I first heard those words, it was very hard for me to conceptualize what it was trying to teach me, and because I thought of it as so passive, I was like, okay, this just has to be some form of philosophy that I need to just kind of learn. But in reality, what happens is that it's not about being passive and not doing things. It's about learning. Sifu Chin, basically, the way he taught me was he taught me what was called the three sides of the coin. And if you look at non-doing and not being too forceful with things as being one side of the coin, then the other side of the coin is being successful with your objective and your results. What are you trying to achieve? And the answer to both of those is when you take the quarter and you look at the heads, you look at the tails, and then you turn it and you look at it sideways. That's the third side of the coin. Most of the time, we forget about that side of the coin, but it's the most important part when it comes to Wu Wei practice, following the Tao. And as I'm saying that, so for example, you have objectives that you want to meet in your life, whether that's in your health, your financial status, your social status, whatever it is, you're going to meet resistance. If you take it as just non-doing and be passive, what will happen? Well, this must not be meant for me because I didn't expect this sort of resistance. And so you just go on home and then you whine and complain about not getting what you want because obviously it wasn't meant for you. And that's really a load of crap. For the most part, what it means is that you're going to meet resistances and you want to use everything inside of your environment, inside your skill set, to not work against nature, but to use everything in nature to help you work against the resistances you find. And a metaphorical example of that is just take the old sailors who had a sailboat. Gallagher's a Navy man, but before you had motors and oars, we had sailboats, especially the big ships. And there's occasion that you might want to get from where you are to the island over there that's got the food, the gold, the money, whatever it is you want to, or you just want to get the hell off the sea that you've been on for the last 4 months, right? But the wind is blowing directly in your face from the island. Well, what are you going to do? Right? No cheating, okay? If you take the idea that, well, it must not be meant for me to go to the island because the wind's blowing directly in our face, right? Then you just drop your sails and let everything blow you back, okay? And you can't just force yourself down the middle against the wind. That's exactly one of the things Tai Chi is always trying to teach you, what we were just working on here. So the idea is that I have to use everything in my skill set to still work to get and achieve my objective, even though I'm feeling this resistance. With that spirit, they develop techniques. But the spirit came first. We got to figure out what we have and what we can do. Then they figured out the concept, the technique that Gallagher just said is called tacking. Okay, for you Xing folks, this should be very important to you because when you meet a direct force, tacking is the sailor's way to continue to get the result, which basically means you turn the sails, you use the water, the wind that's coming directly at you catches the sails and it moves you. And tacking basically is the sailor's way of saying zigzag, using the sails and water in order to continue moving forward toward your objective. When you look at the Xing practice, it's built in zigzagging to take on a direct force, not just by hammering your way through. No, it's using what you have and zig and zag while you're still trying to achieve your objective. I know I get impassioned about that, but it was important to me because it helped me understand that being passive isn't not doing, and it's not just, it's a matter of using everything you can without trying to directly force yourself against the resistance. Be smarter than that, okay? Now, one of the things that we were working on before y'all came on is I was going to take us through some exercise and things like that, but we're going to go right into this, is occasionally when you're working on your Tai Chi Chuan, we were using single whip. It's very easy to fall in the trap of always using single whip in a particular way, like striking. And we talk about it that way. For example, strike inside and then use an elbow, hand, and occasionally, like I've shown you before, sometimes I'll turn it into a strangle or other types of strikes. It's good to take your mind and flip it over into thinking more of it and a lot of your Tai Chi like in sweeps. So Karen, come here. We'll do the same thing you did before. And Karen is what she's going to do is she's going to attack me just like you did before. Okay? She's going to come in, do a little step, bump. Now go ahead and step behind me. Good. And then lean into it. Let's try it again. Okay? So when you're practicing at home, the first thing, just stay right there, is notice where she's at. This is stepping into it just like you are in your almost every time you're in the form. Then from here, she's going to keep her framework and slip her leg in behind me. And then from there, stretch me out. I got it. Thank you. Good. That was very good. So with that being said, she's not trying to hit me head on. All right, she's trying to use the skill set. And basically, Tai Chi uses, come here, Ryan. Tai Chi likes to, if he's bigger and stronger than I am, or like if Jeff, the first thing I want to do is this idea of tacking, of using different concepts or angles, is to rock his balance just a little. And then try to get in behind him just a little before, in this case, trying to sweep him over, okay? If you'll think that way, what it'll do is it'll change how you do the exercise. Just like I said about the tacking part. First, have the spirit to use the water pushing back, the air coming at you, turning your sails, getting all those things put together so that you can think about how to move forward in a different way than just going like a bull rush down the middle, okay? All right, so let's just practice that while you're at home. Warm yourself up, and y'all do that here, okay? So what we'll do is just practice. I'm gonna go toward the camera so you can see it here. I'm gonna use my right lead first to jam in, and if you notice, I pull my hand back like so. I call it the crowbar hand. People call it catch the canary or things like that. But to drive in with my weight forward and then turn, and my weight is still back. And in this case, since I want to think about a sweep, I want to feel their body right here against the back of my arm, forearm, somewhere in there, and I want to pull it over. And notice that by the time my hand gets that my palm is facing me. My palm does not turn away till the very end of the technique. Okay? Try that a little bit more. Let's go ahead and get about 5 to 10 reps and practice the idea of feeling them sweep across your leg. That's very good, Karen. That changes it. Yeah. Gallagher, make sure that you pull both sides. So when you finish, I still want you to finish the same way. The idea that both sides even out. That will also help you so you don't have this idea of forward lunging. And I know Mr. Gallagher can explain this much better than I can. We might get him to do that on a day that's not 5 degrees. But the idea, the same thing I just said, is that when you're sailing your boat and you turn your sails, the wind is going to be pushing your boat and it's going to fill up the sails and it's going to push it. But at the same time as this pushing this way, the water is going to push back, right? It creates, and as a skilled sailor, you have to understand how all that works in your particular ship. But in this case, the reason I'm saying that is that you want to make sure that you have an equal pushback on both sides. So just like the boat is being pushed back by the water as it extends itself. So it's always balanced. Even though it goes through, it may not look balanced, but it don't sink. So it's got enough balance. How about that? All right. If you've done several on one side, then go ahead and do the other. If you haven't done the other in a while, introduce yourself to your left hand and your left leg. Hey, hey. One and out. Good. That's much better. All right. Pop out in the posture. Come here, Mr. G. We're going to adjust Mr. G real quick. Go ahead and pop out in the posture. Yeah, you just go ahead. Okay. Go ahead. All right. Freeze right there. Okay. What we want to do is make sure that hand in front of the foot. Stretch this side out more.
Okay.
As much as this is extended away from you, this one should be extended away from you. You have a tendency to extend out nice on this side, and this side
collapse.
Yeah. The Tyrannosaurus T-Rex
right
on that back side. Try in your mind, try to put more emphasis on the back side, and that will help. But it's still short.
Yes.
Right? Because you're forward-minded, you're pushing into the wind. There you go. That was much better. Pull the sails back, right? Pull the sails back and let it open. Jeff, that looked good. That looked real good. You're doing so much differently. Now, try not to turn your foot out so far. And a little correction on Jeff's footwork here. When you step out, don't try to turn your foot out to where you think it's supposed to end. Okay? What you want to practice is take it, and you don't want it straight ahead either. Okay? So if I'm pointing at the camera, I don't want my toe and foot pointed directly. But basically, Sifu would say, take it, and it starts off right at the camera, but then by the time it lands, it's just one toe print off. You see that? So it's just a tiny bit. And what that does is then your knee will fold over the top of it, and as you turn, did you see how it moved underneath me? Because basically my hip will rotate it around, and now I can go in any direction I want. When you step out with that, basically, what would you call it? Maybe 5 or 10 degrees, just one big toe print out to the side. Okay? That's better. Okay, and did you feel it turn underneath you just a little bit? Yep. And you don't have to think about it.
No.
All you got to do is just step out, and when your hip turns, it'll naturally go right where it's supposed to. And it's not really a pivot. Good. Okay, so a little extra something. All right, if you're practicing at home, remember, don't break anything. I say that because I've done it. nothing like getting impassioned with your work. What? Oh, crap, right? All of a sudden, something off the piano goes flying, right? Yeah, exactly.
Door frame.
All right. Ryan had made a comment earlier, sometimes that his Tai Chi turns into Xing Yi. And part of the reason that we were doing this exercise was that it's kind of like that yin yang thing. Instead of going, okay, well, I don't want my Tai Chi to turn into Xing Yi, right? I like to be able to practice Tai Chi. Well, single whip is like a Swiss Army knife, is the way CP would explain it to us, right? It's a Swiss Army knife. You can do a lot of things with it. But what will happen is you get used to doing it just one way. And there's several ways to use it. The other way to do your single whip is to I want you to maintain that mentality of sweeping for right now. But in this case, instead of drawing the hand up and into in front of your face, this time what's going to happen is you're going to turn, and now the hand is going to be right there by your lung. And it's going to open up the same step, and then it's going to open up like so. I'm going to do it toward the camera. So I'm going to go one, and now I'm in here. As I open, it's going to be more parallel to the earth rather than dropping down. It's going to whip around and come right back out. It's one of his favorite techniques.
It's how I learned how to use my waist.
Yeah, right. If you didn't hear him, Ryan said that's how he learned how to use his waist, was with the diagonal single whip. It's one of the whips that does not show up. There's 3 whips. You have the one we just did, then you have the low version, which some people will call the snake creeps out, and then you have the diagonal whip, which you really don't see that often, except unless you do the old combative sets of Tai Chi. So come here, Ryan, demo, right? It's basically, we're going to start the same way. We're going to use this as a way of getting in and creating power. And this time what's going to happen is I'm going to get down deep and change my height and then just pull it across. You can easily see the whip on that one. Okay, you can also see breaks. That's where you start to turn it and do a few other things.
Then do it so I can see the other side of it.
Yeah. So in this case, I'm going to basically thrust in. I'm going to turn and get up. And as I shift my weight, I just basically sweep him across. You can, I wish Bob Speed was here because this is where he masters up. You know, for me, I once I get here, I go immediately toward the groin. Can't help it. It's just a nastiness, right? But you get in here and then you can turn it right into a shoulder break, elbow break, things like that just as easily. But first you have to practice the idea of getting in and roll it around. Okay, let's try a few with the diagonal single whip. It's going to feel different. Yeah, okay. Come here, Karen, so I can work with you right here, because some of the folks have not done this. So you're going to do the same part just again, just like you did before. Now this time, instead of getting all up in here, now you feel how you're kind of coiled up now?
Yeah.
All right, turn toward the camera just like that so they can see. See how there's very little window now? So she's thrusting in, but she's got her body covered up. So from here, just step out. Good. Thank you. Okay. I see some snowflakes. Did y'all see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yay! Get some reward for it. Good. Good. So 1, 2. See how my leg is extended? And then thrust, use your waist. And when you do, the one thing that Brian always got real good with is that final whipping, right? So you get it and it goes, right? The sound effects help. I'm not lying. Right?
It was so embarrassing when someone just went, gee, and I fell over.
Yeah.
I figure out how to do that.
Yeah. So 1, and then thrust. And again, my palm is staying toward my body till the very end.
Sometimes it's easier to fall into the trap of shifting your weight back instead of moving forward.
Forward, yes. Yep. And shifting your weight's a big part of that, right? That's where that idea for, in Tai Chi Chuan, having that sense of your ship being in the sea, right? The ship is in the sea. It's not on the sea, right? It's in it, which means now there's a buoyancy. The ship and the sea are working together, right? So when you start to move, you want to feel like You see how all of a sudden I guess kind of sink into it. And then from there, I use the sea to move the ship across, right? The sea being the root of what you're coming off of. I'm so excited. It's snowing. It's not just, I mean, y'all been out here. How many times have we been out here where it was cold and it was just wet? It was cold and it was just damp. It was just cold, right?
Yep.
And to actually see something,
It's still cold.
well, yes, it is cold.
But it's worth it.
Yeah,
No.
now it's worth it because we get to see a little snow and work on our single whips. Look at that. All right, so step, roll, wah. Better check time here. All right, good. We're doing good. Okay, good. Yep. And Jeff, with your legs and height and limb length, low is a different relative term for you, right? But just keep working on that idea. Yes, good. Okay, so it's a little single whip practice. Follow the Dow, and a good example. The cold this morning was the resistance that we had to face to come out this morning, right? So we did a little zig by putting on extra layers, a little zag by getting our gloves and everything else. Or, we tried to work with what we had in order to still get out and achieve our objective, which was to make it to practice as best we can, and do what we can while we're here. Let's do the fire set of Tai Chi. I wish there was a fire. But get us one of them little barrels and do posting around the barrel. All right, so tell you what, let's do our regular state. Yeah, you take one. Am I still in the camera frame? Yeah, good. Okay, first, let's just take a breath. And as you exhale, let everything settle down. Hands in front of the lower dantian, and we're going to take about 7 breaths here, okay? So just calm everything down. Exhale slow. Good. Let the hands float. Nice and easy. Then in toward the heart and settle down. Let's turn, hold the baby. Step out. Parting horse's mane. Good. Then step up, hold the baby out into your mirror hand. And roll back. Pressing. Wash. And out. Good. Let's hold the moon. Sitting back. Turn. And take a moment. Just take a couple of breaths right there, head pointing toward the corner. And most of that's just to remind us, like we were talking about it's not always about doing. Sometimes it's the matter of being in the state of connecting with yourself, your environment. Take your time. Let's separate the clouds a little bit. Step out. There we go. Good. Roll back. Press. Think about that sweep again. Wash and out. Good. Okay, from here, I'm going to do a cloud hand over, point straight ahead, then separate the leg out into our single whip. Lighten the arms, let them float up, take them over. Right. From here, we're going to cut, turn it around, open it up. Good. Then balance out, let everything return to normal. And cloud hand over, single whip, then rotate, separate the knee, open up. Good. Empty the arms, fan over. Good. Cutting back, keep it long, then exhale, open up to the crane cool's wings. Good. Back to neutral. From here, we're going to turn, listen to the seashell, right brush knee. Climb up to the golden rooster. Good, good. Now step it back to your hand lift. Listen to the seashell, step out, brush knee. Good. Then climb it up into your golden rooster. Good knee if you can. Good balance. Take your time. Step back, ball of the foot, heel of the foot. Good. All right, here we go. Set 4. Roll back. Backhand intercept. The white snake stretches out, and then it rolls through the grass and spits poison. Good. Hand under elbow and out. Good. Reach up, pull back. Put the baseball in the glove up to your ear. Backhand intercept. The white snake stretches out, rolls through the grass, and spits poison. Good. Hand under elbow and on. Good. From here, sit back, turn, push the sky, gather your clouds, lift them up in a cross hand. Good job, Gallagher. Feet together, stand up with some pride in yourself. Good work today, all the way across the board. Okay? Good job. You're very welcome, Karen. All right. Hey, thank y'all for joining us.